Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was just about to leave and go home, and when I got here, I saw this. This is my company logo. This is my sheep. This is a little panhandling tray, and he's saying, "Would you spare some change for a new Bafang?" This is obviously in reference to the fact that yesterday my bike managed to convert the nice front of my apartment building into a scene that looks like it came out of downtown Baghdad in 2001. This is not the outcome that I was looking for. I usually build my bikes with EM3 EV batteries. They are incredibly high quality. They take pride in using good cells. They take pride in individually fusing every single cell, having a really good BMS with really good short detection, temperature control. They are amazing, amazing, high quality batteries, and you can see just from going through their site that they're built by real engineers that care about attention to detail with everything. But they were missing the 20 Series 10 parallels that they used to have, so I went to an AliExpress vendor. I asked if I could get them made with 35Es and a 2-wire BMS instead of whatever cheap 3-wire BMS crap they usually use. Paid the premium. You can watch the video on Erica's channel. I don't think I got exactly what I paid for. So I was using these cells to each of those two packs, since they were being used in parallel to a bridge rectifier, was being used to about max, according to the psychoanalyst computer, 23 to 24 amp peak max, and they each have a supposedly 80 amp output continuous capacity, and yeah, that did not go well. So it kind of blew up. And I came to work and I was clearly sad. And I have this thing here as I'm leaving, and it honestly just brought a smile to my face. I really like the fact that even though we've been working, for 12 years, had a company for 12 years, it's not at the point where people here all hate each other. You can't joke a little bit. Like, it's not some sort of edgy, toxic environment, but the people here, they don't hate each other. They can actually get along, they can joke back and forth. And while we do take the work seriously, while we do try to do work to a very high standard of quality, and while we do really care about being able to be the best at what we do, we can still have the type of work environments where you can actually enjoy coming to work, where you can laugh, you could joke around a little. It's not this awful environment where there's all this inter-office drama and people hate each other, and you can't talk to that person, you have to fake smile when you walk by this person. And I really like and appreciate that. I've worked at places where the people genuinely hated each other, and in spite of the fact that they hated each other, they would still work there for 10 or 15 years, and they made it very obvious. And I quit. There were really prestigious opportunities I had, and opportunities to make some decent money that I kind of gave up on because I didn't have it in me to do that. When you think about it, you work for 8 hours a day. If you sleep for 8 hours a day, which is healthy, that means that you spend half of your waking life at work. And when you leave, or while you're on your way to work, that's time that you're probably kind of thinking or dreading having to deal with douchebags that you would not otherwise want to deal with. So having the type of company culture where people actually kind of like coming to work is a really, really difficult thing to create, or where they just don't hate it. And it's something that you should be really, really appreciative of, and in my opinion, value a little bit over the amount of money that you may make at the company. There are places where you probably could make a little bit more money, but you'd be a lot more miserable leaving that type of environment. This is one of the things that I remember Ricky Beegan was bringing up to me about getting a real job when we were working together at Avatar, because he was talking about all the skills, all the money he could get doing this other stuff, but it just wasn't the same as being able to sit in the shop at the back of Avatar Studios, talk with some of the other artists, and, I guess go to the second floor every now and roll a blunt with the people that were walking through the halls of the power station. But there's something to be said about having that type of work culture. And I think that I'm really lucky, and that I should be really appreciative that, in spite of the fact that we have had a business that's grown exponentially over the past 12 years, that it's never really gotten to the point where it is this soulless, miserable, awful place where people are making sure that they take their piss at 4:55 because they clock out at 5, and there's no way in hell that they're taking a piss on their time. You know those places, and you've worked with those people, and you've probably worked at those places and been that person, and you're probably that person because the place is miserable and sucks. And it's just little touches like this where I honestly was having a pretty crappy day. And I walk by it, and it just kind of made me smile. And I'm happy that we have that kind of environment. Really, the only thing that could have been better than this is if we had the type of environment where people would spell the word wood with a D. But again, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So that's about it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. And just really think about that when it comes to your job. And what are you when you're looking at the full compensation package? How does the place that you work at affect your quality of life? Like when you're on your way out at the end of the day, if you've had a bad day, do you actually feel better as a result of some of the interactions with the people that you work with? Or is it that do you show up to work for the salary in spite of the interactions that you have with some of the people that you work with? And I gotta say, I'm a very lucky guy, and I wish I could take credit for the fact that I had anything to do with this, but I didn't. I just happened to hit the jackpot with some really amazing people, and I'm very appreciative. So thank you. And yeah, this is yeah. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway, by the way, if anybody wants an LG G8. See that? There'll be a future video. It's mint condition, and I'll probably have a video explaining like the full bike setup and all that at some other point. I'm actually debating going out into the middle of nowhere, taking one of those oil containers, like absolute middle of nowhere, and just doing a quick short to ground with the EM3 EV battery, and then with another battery I have from that same vendor to kind of suss out and figure out like how good is the construction of your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I have by accident, accidentally shorted to the terminals on an EM3 EV battery before. That thing is not, it is not blowing up. Like even if you go slightly over its amperage limit in any way, shape, or form, if it gets too hot, it turns off. This happens, it turns off. That happens, it turns off. It's a really well-designed battery. Something tells me that even if you ask, even if you're willing to pay that extra, even if you do pay that extra, that the AliExpress guy is just kind of put in his back pocket. But we'll see. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something.